Hi friends, I'm going to show you how to do one of my favorite go-to everyday looks. She's a gorgeous little brown smoky eye with a hint of color. I was originally going to do a spooky ooky look, but I just did not have it in me this week, and I definitely don't want to overexert myself because that's how we get to burnout, babes. And so of course we're going to start off with a little lip mask, and normally I would do the rest of my skincare, but I'm telling you guys, this has just been a very long week for me, so I did some things a little backwards. And so after we primed our eyes, I went into our skincare, and I realized this is when I got serum all over my desk. It's nice to be able to record myself and just see all this play back in real time, because I had no idea this was happening this day. And so of course we're going to make sure we bring down any excess skincare down our throat and onto our hands. And so we're going to be using the KVD Satan Sinner palette. I am using just this little light brown and putting that right into the outer thirds of our eyes. I'm only going to be putting this into the crease of my eyes in kind of a C formation. And with a nice thick juicy fluffy brush, we're going to get just the tiniest bit of that brown again, and we're going to blend that out, this time only bringing it 2/3 in. And again, earlier we were just going a third in, not really passing our iris at all. And with this big fluffy brush, we're essentially just blending out the edges. And once I'm happy there, I'll go ahead and dip back into the brown and really deepen that crease. And honestly, one of my favorite things about doing my makeup is just going back and forth with all the different colors and making sure we have this perfect seamless blend. It could also be the Virgo and me overanalyzing everything, but we don't have to get into that. And so we're slowly going to start to build a wing with this dark brown on our eyes. And then with our light brown, we're going to go ahead and buff out those edges. I found because of my eye shape, I really don't like to add too much darkness towards the inner third of my eyes. I pretty much just keep all of that intensity on the outer third, or pretty much just in the crease. And again, this is just how I do things for my eye shape. You absolutely do not have to follow these exact same steps. Just use these videos as like a little guide. Also, yeah, I think we're using this entire palette for this, well, not the entire palette, but we're using this palette for the entire look. Actually, look at me lying in your face. We're going to be using the Girl Scout palette, or if you don't have, you could be using the Half Magic Blushing Lizard. But we're going to be using that for our inner corner. I did want to show you how these guys are definitely same but different. When I bought the Blushing Lizard, when I bought that shadow, I thought it was going to be the same. Once I got home, I realized it ran a little bit more peachy pink, compared to the Girl Scout Clear Eyes. I believe Car Beauty isn't making this palette anymore either, so that's kind of why I wanted to give you a different option. Oh, look, also I did my nails, so that's awesome. But really quick, I did also want to add, when you're applying things, make sure, so you see this, I strategically put the shadow on certain parts of my fingers just so I can target certain areas of my eye. Also, listen, this is my struggle. I want to be a natural girly so bad, but there's just so much makeup that I have to play with, and I feel like next thing I know, I have like 8 different highlights on my face. Oh my gosh, also, this has been my new favorite trick. So lately, I have just been lining my eyes with any kind of like eye pencil and then buffing that out and then going back in with like even more if I feel like I need more. And that has just been perfect for me because I feel like a lot of times I would go in with just straight black eyeshadow and things get crazy quick. Okay, so now we're doing our eyelashes. I like to curl it at the bottom, curl it at the middle, curl it at the end, add a little mascara to the base, let that dry, and then add a little mascara to the end, and then add 1,000 more layers. So we're finally at the foundation. I love adding it to the back of my hands, warming it up there, and then applying it to my face with my hands. Yeah, just straight with my hands. I personally feel like this gives you a really skin-like finish, and it also allows me to control how much foundation I actually put on. I have a lot of sensory issues when it comes to my makeup, and I want to feel like I have a very high impact look, but I don't want to feel the cake face of it all. Okay, so I've been using the Sephora contour stick for a while now, and I realize I like the color, I don't like the consistency. And with the Morphe 2 contour stick, I like the consistency, but I don't like the color. Well, I like the color, I just wish it was a little bit cooler tone, so these together is just perfect for me. And so when it comes to my contour, I'd like to keep it on the outer edges of my face. I really do not like to bring any of that darkness towards the inside. The only darkness would really be my nose contour, which, I don't know, guys, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting really good at it. So I draw these little 11s on my nose, I bring that up to my eyebrows, and also, if you ever feel like you have too much product on your brush, do not feel afraid to just take that off, wipe the excess on the back of your hand. There were so many times in the beginning of my makeup career where I would be trying to blend something, but I just had this giant buildup of makeup in my brush, and it was just hard to do anything. And so before we move on to the rest of the face, I'm going to go ahead and apply my concealer and just let that sit. And again, we're going to go in with our eye pencil and just line very closely to our eyes. I've been loving this lately because it really allows me to control how much product I am actually adding. And so we're going to be using our Morphe M210. It's just this little flat brush. You really don't have to get the exact one, but that's what I'm using. We're going to buff that liner out as well as kind of flick it up into the shadow on our upper lid. I've really been liking this lately and just kind of marrying the bottom with the top and it's also been helping to kind of create this natural little like cat wing effect. And in case I didn't say this earlier, I am using a dark brown first and then going back in with a black just so that I don't make this too intense too quick. And with our iconic London Illuminator, we're going to go ahead and put that on the highest points of our face. And normally I would have done that before I even put my foundation on, but again, guys, things got crazy this week and Halloween's coming up, so I've been working on my costume. I'm gonna be sewing something for me and my man. I will definitely post about that later. And so I was starting to blend out my nose contour, getting a little bit on the outside of the nose and just really buffing it in, you know, so there's no crazy harsh lines. But this is when disaster struck. I don't know how it happened, but I completely did not even record myself blending out my contour, blending out my blush. I had to take a second to think about what I was doing with my life because I don't know how that happened. Actually, I know exactly how that happened, but I just do not want to get in. So we went back to our blush, blended out our nose, a little bit on the chin. And if you didn't notice, this is the first time we're going back into that foundation that we have on the back of our hands. And then with the pointed side of the Beauty Blender, we're going to go ahead and marry our concealer and blush together. And I'm only blending out the outer edges of my concealer because we're immediately going to go back in with a powder blush and set our blush. I personally feel like this helps keep the radiance in your cheeks, whereas when you would set with a translucent powder, I feel like it mattifies you a little bit more than I would like. And so I did go ahead and get a new powder puff today just for aesthetic reasons. Realistically, you can go ahead and wash these over and over again and reuse them as many times as you'd like, or I guess until they look really nasty and raggedy, of course. And so we're going to blend out our under eye concealer and immediately go in with a powder puff before any of that creases. And then I like to go ahead and set any areas where I didn't add any blush or contour. Make sure that I work all of that powder into the powder puff so we're not just putting an excess amount on our face. And since I didn't get the chance to show you me blending out my contour, I kind of wanted to show you my little guideline whenever I am applying. I would love to do a video where I'm not doing a voiceover and we're just talking face to face, or face to screen, I guess. But I'm just too chatty, guys, and I don't know how long that would end up being. And so you'll see me doing this a lot where I like to go in between two different colors to get the perfect shade. Obviously, I could go buy more makeup, but I'm really trying my best to use what I have and not get too crazy with it. And so we're going to go ahead and apply that brightening pink powder right there in the inner corners of our under eyes. And I love to add a pink highlight just so that we can have a softer transition between the concealer and our blush. And I recently ran out of my white liner, so I've been using this shimmery one, and I feel like it's been making my makeup just come out so dreamy. And I don't know about you guys, but if no one notices playing, or honestly anything Maria is playing, I am screaming at the top of my lungs. We saw them for our engagement anniversary this year, and it was absolutely a dream. And so I normally use the Exaggerized mascara for my bottom lashes, but I couldn't find that, so I went ahead and used this tubing one instead. Which normally isn't a big deal, but I would suggest to use the same type of mascara on both top and bottom lashes. So whenever I'm setting my face, I like to leave it literally dripping wet, but I'll always fan it off after. So we're going to be using the e.l.f. liquid liner to be adding my beauty marks. This is honestly my favorite step in my makeup. I do not feel complete without them. I used to add even more beauty marks and even really big ones, and I would just call them like my little dinosaur egg spots. I don't know, I thought it was cute. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the lips. We're gonna do a little bit of the ColourPop lippy pencils. I think I bought a whole like 10-12 pack of colors, and it was just a bunch of different nudes, and that has come in handy over the years. I would absolutely recommend ColourPop lip liners and eyeliners too. Again, that is the white liner that I have, and I just had to order a new one. I just find them so creamy. I think they're the BFF cream liners. And so we're gonna go ahead and use this dark brown and kind of contour our lips, as well as using the Makeup Forever. I think it's like the Pro Artist, I don't know what it's called, but it's overpriced and honestly not worth it. I got them on a treat myself type of day, so you know how that goes. Anyways, we get our pear soap, fluff out the brows, and bam, look at us, we're done. This is definitely a super easy look. You could absolutely substitute the blue shimmer for an orange, pink, whatever your little heart desires. But again, it's one of my favorite go-to looks whenever I'm looking for a little bit extra drama. But thanks for coming along. I'll talk to you guys later. Love you, bye.